About 2 weeks ago, I did a video on Brambletrek Journey into the 100 Acre Woods, which is a GM-less tabletop RPG that you can play completely solo or with a few friends, set in the world of Winnie the Pooh. And judging from its Kickstarter campaign right now, it is extremely popular and people are really digging its vibe. So today I want to jump a little bit deeper into how it actually works. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. ttrpg and today I want to do a somewhat deeper dive into Brambletrek, Tales in the 100 Acre Woods, which is, yes, a Winnie the Pooh RPG. Now, I want to do a deeper dive in a sense of I want to give you a more of an idea of how this game actually plays. This is a GM-less game. You can play it completely solo, which is kind of fun, but you can also play it with friends, which is, to my opinion, always the more fun option. But maybe you find yourself sitting on an airplane or a train or in a car or whatever and you want to play this game. You can play it solo completely. Now, if you do not know what Brambletrek is, this is kind of like an expansion or like a standalone expansion to the original super successful Brambletrek, and there is a Kickstarter of it going on right now, which has already raised a unfathomable amounts of money, and this one is set into the in the Winnie the Pooh, in the Poohverse, in the 100 Acre Woods, which is of course the world of Winnie the Pooh, and I really like it, and I really like its clever design. This is not one of those videos where I do like how to play this game in 5 minutes. I'm not yet ready to do that kind of video on this, but at the same time I'm ready enough to like dive into this a little bit deeper with you. I'm not gonna go over like everything this game has to offer in terms of rules and guidelines and all of that. I just wanted to like give you a rundown on how this game is actually played. There's like lore, there's like stuff, how it works, how it ties into the original Brambletrek. So the original Brambletrek is an RPG that's meant to be played completely solo, where you play this mouse. And now this mouse just kind of finds itself in the world of Winnie the Pooh, and they need to save the world. The mouse and Winnie the Pooh together need to save the world, and you basically get to play with. I need to scroll down for this. Get to play with you can create your own character completely if you want to, but you can also play with Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, Owl, and one of these other creatures, Kanga and Roo, of course, one of these other creatures from the same universe, right? So I'm gonna choose to play with Bramble, which is the original mouse, so to speak, of the original RPG, the solo RPG. Now, this game is completely played with a deck of cards. Yes, it's played with a normal deck of cards, and the deck of cards actually functions as your game master in this game. Now, normally you play tabletop RPGs, well, not always, but like in my world, in my universe, you play tabletop RPGs with a set of dice, most of the time polyhedral dice, D20, D12, all that stuff, but this is completely played with a deck of cards. So I got myself a deck of cards right here, and I'm just gonna run through like the basic scenario of the game. So basically, you need to save the world of Winnie the Pooh, but I'm not going to go too deep into the lore and the storytelling of it. I just want to give you a sense of the mechanics. Right? So every day, so first of all, your character has 3 stats, so to speak. It has health, which determines your health. It has morale, which is your grit and determination, and it represents your ability to overcome fear, blah, 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 blah. And supplies. Now, you can have all sorts of stuff, but everything is represented in supplies. And every time you rest, you need to pay for supplies. Is that you can imagine for yourself, if that's in the form of special little drinks or foodstuffs or whatever, you need to spend for supplies. But there's also ways to get more supplies, of course, get your health back, all of that. And the entire game is like, it's an entire book with almost like random rolling tables, but you draw cards from a deck. Now, there are character sheets here, and for now, I'm going to use Bramble, who has 10 health, 8 supplies, 12 morale, knows arcane ripples, Warden's Veil, Echoes of Realm, and Spellbound Whispers. So once per day, Bramble can create a surge that distorts fate, allowing them to redraw a card for an event or a tactic. Now, That will all make more sense when we start playing this game. And this is not going to be an overly long video where I go into everything, but basically your day starts, you are in the 100 Acre Woods, all magical, and there's this problem. Winnie the Pooh fills you in on like what problems there are, and you need to go and save the world. You can play as Winnie the Pooh, you can play as Piglet, you can play as Tigger, but you can also play as the heroic mouse called Bramble, right? So what you do in let's go over one day in this RPG. So what you do in one day is you pick 4 cards from a deck. 4 cards from a deck of cards, and I'm not gonna cheat on this one. I just want at least 1 face card for reasons to be determined, right? So I got a 4 of diamonds, I've got a 3 of clubs, I've got a 10 of hearts, and I've got an 8 of hearts. I'm gonna skip the 8 of hearts until I have a face card. The face card is the King of Clubs, the King of Spades, right? So I have 1 red card, a black card, a red card, and a black card. So the first thing that I notice is you need to go over these in the order that you pull them from the deck. So you put these in front of you on a table. It's really hard for me to film this, and you need to go over these in the order that you pull them from the deck. So a 4 of clubs, a 3 of spades, a 10 of hearts, and a king of spades. Black cards are almost always negative, red cards are almost always a positive effect. So let's go over the first card. So you're walking through the forest and over pathways and over things and that kind of stuff, and you go to your first encounter of the day, which is a 4 of clubs. All you need 4 of diamonds. All you need to do is go to the diamonds section to the 4. You come across a stream. A few smooth stones glimmer beneath the water alongside a perfect fresh apple. This fresh apple gives you 4 supplies. That's it. So that's how supplies work. It tells you it's an apple, but you can also imagine yourself it being a pear or whatever. The most important part is it is 4 supplies, which means you can use those supplies to take a rest at the end of the day. So that thing, this day, is already resolved. It was just an easy little thing that is resolved, right? Now we go to the 3 of clubs, which is clubs means negative, right? You get caught. Sorry, the 3 of spades. Oh man, I always it's completely different in Dutch, and that's why it's a little bit hard for me. The 3 of spades. You get caught in a path of brambles, and it takes some effort to free yourself. A few scratches later, you press on. This gives you -3 health. So you lose 3 health on your way, but you gain 4 supplies on your way. And now you might be thinking, but hey, can I not save against this? Can I not do anything against this? Yes, you can. I will talk about that a little bit. I just want to go over how a day kind of works in Brambletrek, right? So you lose 3 health. Unless you do something, try to do something about it, you lose 3 health. Let's just say you accept it. You accept your fate as a player. You're like, I'll take that. I walked into a thorn bush or something like that. 10 of hearts is the next one. The 10 of hearts is right here. A melody drifts through the trees, reminding you of home. Humming along, your worries seem a little smaller. +10 morale. This is a really good card. It gives you +10 morale. So we are playing with whatever creature we want to play, right? But we are playing with Bramble, who starts off with 8 supplies, but we already gained 4, which is 12 supplies. He starts out with 12 morale, but we gained 10, which is 22 morale. And we lost, was it 2 health? Doesn't matter, we lost some health, let's say 2 health. We're now at 8 health, but we have a lot of supplies and a lot of morale. As you can see, Pooh, of course being a bear, he starts out with a little bit more health. Right? A little bit less morale, but a little bit more health. And that's how they kind of create characters. I don't know if there's any health above 12, like a super tanky creature. I don't know if there's one. No, there's nothing above 12. 12 is the highest. But that is kind of how a day works until you go run into your last card, which in this case is a King of Spades. A King of Spades. You go down, King of Spades. Clouds gather overhead, but the storm isn't natural. The wind howls, carrying the sound of something moving through the trees. And then, between brackets, it says combat. And that is when we move into the combat of the game. And later I will talk about how you can overcome those other things that might happen to you, which are not combat. Now, once you find yourself in a combat scenario, it's even more interesting. I think the combat of this game is really well done, and again, with a deck of cards. So the first thing you need to do is draw one card for yourself and one card for whatever enemy is coming at you. You still don't know what enemy it is, right? We're going to assume for now, for the video, that I go first, right? So I draw the higher card. Then we're going to come up with a creature that is going to attack us. So what I need to do is I need to pick another card. So I'll just cut the deck like 3 times or whatever, and then I will just pick a card which is a jack. So 10 to queen is a crocodile. A crocodile has 13 health points. So all I need to do is go to the crocodile stat block somewhere here, which is, this is the crocodile, right? Once slow-moving sentinels of the riverbanks, the crocodiles were known for their patience and immense resilience. With their stone-like scales and calm demeanor, they were represented as immovable guardians of the waterways. They have turned their calm into destructive nature. And then you get an entire stat block of what they can do, their combat tactics, so-called. So every time when it's their turn, you draw a card, and that card decides the combat tactic the crocodile, is using. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into like special abilities of when you're playing the game yourself. You can see that all creatures have special abilities, but also player characters have special abilities. You can use them. I'm not going to go too deep into that. This is just for like mechanics that you can learn, kind of like get a sense of how it's played, right? So that is whatever they do in their turn. But first, it's our turn, and this is really cool. There's a lot, right? So what you do is you draw, if I'm not mistaken, 4 cards. So I draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I now have a hand of 4 cards. I have a 7 of diamonds. I have a 10 of spades. I have a 6 of diamonds, and I have a queen of spades. Right? Are there actually any clubs in here? Yes, there are clubs in here. So these are my 4 powers that I can use during the combat, and I can use them in whatever order I want. I'm actually playing a hand against a creature that is randomly doing stuff against me. So, now, whatever. I don't know. We're doing combat. I have card value. Oh, it only looks at the values? Soozer tactics, Salvager tactics, Rabbit tactics, Tigger tactics, Bramble. Oh, here, right here. Bramble tactics. So, I have a queen. Let's say I use, like, it's my turn. So I'm like, I play my queen. I believe in the heart of the cards and play my queen. And the queen power comes, summon familiar. Summon a magical creature that deals 2 damage per turn. Bam. A familiar pops up, dishes out 2 damage against the crocodile, that already has 13 hit points. It now has 11 hit points, and it just, it's my action, so I don't get to do anything else, but the creature now has dealt 2 damage, but next turn I get to play another card while my familiar is doing damage, which is cool. This is cool. So then we go back to the crocodile, and the crocodile, I just pick a random card for the crocodile. That's just what I do. I just pick from the top of the deck, which is a jack, that rhymes. Riptide Toss. Grabs and flings you aside, dealing 3 damage and forcing you to skip your next movement action. Okay, which I'm about to die. I'm about to die. So the crocodile has 11 hit points, but I also started this encounter because I didn't heal myself with only like, I don't know, 8 hit points, but now it deals, how much does it deal? It deals 3 damage, so I'm down to 5. I might die here. I'm down to 5 hit points. Like, my math and everything might seem off, but it's just me like showing you how to play this game. Now it's my turn again. I just go up again. I should have opened like 2 instances of this book, but I didn't. So that's just the way it works. And I'm just gonna randomly do something. Oh, here, the 10. I'm gonna use 10, which is Essence Drain. Essence Drain, deal 2 damage. So I drain essence from the enemy, which deals 2 damage against the Crocodile, which now is down to, I don't know, which is down to 9 hit points. Then I gain 2 hit points, so I'm back at 7. My math might be off. And then my familiar that I casted also deals 2 damage. So now the Crocodile is down to wherever it is. I think it's 7 hit points, and that is how the combat works. That's basically how it works. It just goes back and forth like that. Now the Crocodile's turn again, so my familiar dealt damage, I dealt damage, I healed myself a little bit, so I'm really happy I picked that 10. Let's just do one more for the Crocodile and then move on. The Crocodile has a 3, Jaw Lock. A bite clamps down, holding you in place and dealing 3 damage, which might end up killing me if this goes on like this. But that is the idea of the combat behind Brambletrek, right? But as you know, there's of course more to it. I will talk in the end of the video about like some exceptions and that everything. But this is like the base of how a day works and how combat is resolved. Now, another aspect of the game that I want to quickly touch upon that is pretty cool is the Misty Hollow. Now, the Misty Hollow is not just another part of the 100 Acre Woods. It's a shifting, memory-infused space where reality bends, landmarks flicker, and time itself seem uncertain. Now, the Misty Hollow is kind of like a death mechanic kind of thing, how you can come back to life, and it's almost a game within the game, and I think it's really cool. It is really well found and thought out. Now, if you reach 0 health, 0 morale, or through mysterious path, certain hearts or diamonds prompts in the main woods may note hollow on its as it calls to you, and then you accidentally wander into the Misty Hollow, or when you reach 0 health. If your health reaches 0, you may draw a card and restore that much health. Once restored, you awaken inside the hollow. Through morale, it's almost the same thing, but it says if your morale reaches 0, you become disoriented and unknowingly wander into the hollow. So the Misty Hollow is resolved in a very cool manner. So what you do is you lay out your cards face down like this. So 5 in a row, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 5 cards, and you have 1 card that is your starting card. And then you put your a token, whatever it is, could be a coin or whatever, you put it on the first card. And then you start moving around this thing, and you can move always move 1 card, but you can also move diagonally, whatever, as long as it's like in an adjacent card, right? And then you just turn up that card, and whatever that card is, it is a prompt. It is a hollow prompt. And all of these prompts lead to you wandering around this Misty Hollow, and there's just ways for you to get out of the hollow. So let me see. Lost tapped within memories and reality, helping them reveal a clue. So it's this entire like mini game of So it's this entire mini game of prompts that you need to go through in order to find your way kind of out of this Misty Hollow, and it's all kind of like this mysterious stuff that goes on. Let me just like pick a card really quickly just to give you an idea. Let me just randomly select a card from this deck, which is a 8 of Hearts. Again, hearts. Faint giggles echo around you, but when you turn, no one is there. The sound lingers, filling you with hope. You recover 3 morale. And there is this like mini, I don't want to go too deep into the mechanics of this, because this only happens when you reach 0 health, when you reach 0 morale, and you can figure that out then. But it is like a mini game that you need to kind of play in order to get back to the main game, which I think is a really original way of handling death in a game like this. Now, earlier in this video, I talked about how you can have negative things happening through your day. When you do that dating, you draw 4 cards, or there's black cards, and something happens making you lose 2 health. There's a few ways to overcome that. First of all, every character has special abilities, like our Bramble has, for example, Warden's Veil. Once per day, Bramble conjures a protective shimmer that absorbs the next source of damage, preventing harm entirely. So that's something that you can do, and all of these creatures have abilities that you can choose to use or not use in certain types of situations. So it's up to you. So maybe you walk into a thorn bush like we did earlier, and it is up to you to like accept the fact that you take 2 damage from it, or be like, no, I want to use a special ability to negate that that damage, which makes the games completely different every time you play it, because it is a deck of cards and there's so many combinations that come from decks of cards. It's just completely different. The replayability of this is really high, and then there is like almost like an overcoming the odds, it's called. It's like a last resort kind of thing. Every character has unique abilities they can use through their journeys, like what I said, right? But everyone has access to the overcome the odds. This allows you to attempt to avoid an outcome when facing an unfortunate event, a black card, or a combat event. Instead of using a legacy ability, declare that a legacy ability is one of those special abilities from the characters. Declare that you're using overcoming the odds to bypass a black event. Now, this is super simple, and it's luck based, but it's kind of high risk, high reward, because you just draw 2 cards. One card for yourself, which is the ability card. There's basically one card is called the ability card, and the other card is the outcome card, which is the challenge, right? Now, let me see. So you draw 2 cards. For example, I draw 1 card for myself, which is a 7, and then I draw 1 card for the challenge, which is a 3, basically. That's when I think like, no, I don't want to walk in that thorn bush, so I'm gonna use overcoming the odds. Now, I drew a 7 for myself, and I drew a 3 for the outcome, which means that it's a success. I don't take that damage. Now, the thing is, if it's lower, you take the damage, right? You fail. But also, when you draw a 2, you get which is 4 chances out of 52, right? Is it? Yeah, it is. You fail and lose double the stats. So if the thorn bush would deal 2 damage to me, 2 health points, by drawing the critical failure in the deck, I take 4 damage. So it's kind of like, there's also a critical success. Of course, if you draw an ace, it's a critical success. Not only do you succeed, but you also regain any stat you would have lost. So normally the thorn bush would deal 2 damage to me, but by drawing an ace, I actually heal 2 damage from it. So it might be, in a magical way, these thorns might like hurt a little bit, but it also possess this magical healing poison that injects by me walking into that thorn bush, right? And that is how the game invites you to also like write your own stuff down and make up your own stuff of why this kind of stuff is happening to you. And that is why I absolutely adore the game, and I cannot wait to play it with my friends. And with this video, I hope I've given you like the basics of this game well enough for you to make a judgment call if it is for you, if it is for your friend, if you want to play it solo, if you want to play it with friends. The Kickstarter campaign, link in the description below, also talks about a way to play it with a game master, which can be like super fun probably. And yeah, the Kickstarter has 2 more days to go when recording this video, so make sure to jump on that, because it is it's really successful. It has gotten like a lot of stretch goals, that kind of stuff, and I really hope it becomes the project that it needs to become, because I really want to test it out. I really want to play it. It's one of those things that I want to play when I'm like out camping with my girlfriend or whatever, and we're just like playing a game for an evening. That's what this game will be perfect for. So yeah, if you have any questions about this game or whatever, you have a question about a certain mechanic or whatever, make sure to put that in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up, and until next video, bye.